Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat for this, our video game book club review of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Lewis, Alex, Niall and Scott.
Hello.
We got a full house today. We are coming in a little bit late, but if you're real, true fans of Play Talk Repeat, you won't care. You'll be buzzing with it. So can we get?
And even if you aren't fans of us, you also won't care.
You also won't care. Yeah, no matter what, no one will care.
Exactly.
So can we get a opening statement, please? Let's start with a guy who suggested the game. Let's start with Scott. Can we get an opening statement from you, please, including a score?
Including a score. Okay, I think this game is pretty good. It does some things extremely well, and some things are quite boring, I feel.
Oof.
Interesting.
I'm gonna give the game a 7 out of 10.
Damn.
Oh, okay. That's higher than I expected with what you just said. I may as well go. Game good. I don't know why I'm using as few words as possible. The game's very good. If you're a fan of the movies in any way, shape, or form, I think you'll really, really like this game. I actually gave this game a 4. Plus another 4 for an 8.
Oh, you proper got me there.
Yeah, I actually gave it an 8. I thought the game was really, really good, and it was a mostly enjoyable experience. Honestly, great time.
For me personally, this is on a personal note. I gave it. I'm not gonna tell you yet. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts first. I thought it didn't do anything particularly well. I thought it did everything very okay. There wasn't anything where I thought this is bad. But there wasn't anything where I thought this was very good. But it edged on the good side, so I gave it a 6 out of 10. So that's me.
On the other end of the scale, it edged over to kind of the bad side for me, so I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Is that plus another 4?
No.
Oh.
It's plus another 0.
Ah, shit. 40? That's
yeah,
crazy.
I didn't particularly...
I didn't think it was that funny.
No, that was a good one. That tickled me.
I didn't particularly enjoy the majority of my time with the game, so I think that dampened the experience, so that's why I gave it a 4.
A 4. Okay, well.
Right. Now, just to hop on with a question straight away for Alex.
Am I okay to give my opening statement first now? Is that all right with you, mate?
Okay,
you're good with that, yeah.
Let's not forget about Alex.
Though. We won't forget about Alex. Don't worry, we'll come straight back to him.
Okay.
So I really, really, really enjoyed my time with the game. I played it back when it first came out, so it's not quite as fresh as it is with the other guys who played it on the back of Game Pass. I bought it when it first came out. The story is really, really good. I think they actually do the characters better than they did in the MCU movies, especially like characters like Gamora and stuff. But we'll get into that later. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. So can we get a round up of the scores again? Because I wasn't listening because I was trying to.
I'm gonna say a round of applause then.
Yeah, for Oliver's announcement.
Hey, gave it a 9.
Right. So I gave it a 9. Lewis gave it an 8. Scott gave it a 7. Did you? 7.
I gave it a 6, and Alex gave it a 4.
I know it don't matter specifically, but it would be a high 8 if I were to give it a low or a high 8.
Oh, well, since you gave it a high 8, we'll take it from a 6.8 to a 7.
Right, okay.
It really, when we're taking this many scores into account, this average system really does not work at all. So we got a 7. So, Niall, you wanted to ask Alex a question. What was it?
Yes, go.
Right, so I'm pretty sure out of everyone, I could even be wrong about this, but out of everyone, Alex is the only one that hasn't watched the movies, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did you reckon that affected your enjoyment positively or negatively?
To be honest, because they were pre-established characters, I expected more of, like, a connection between the characters, but they all seem to all fucking hate each other for some reason, and I don't see why. Oliver says that the game did him better than the films, which doesn't make it seem like I'd even want to touch the films at this point, because everyone just seemed to hate each other and not want to be in the same room.
Yeah, try and remember, right,
that was my...
pre-established characters, but this has got nothing to do with the MCU at all.
Yeah.
So, like, the team is very new in this universe. That's why they're all kind of distrusting each other, and that's what the story is all about, kind of building that team dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know where it like stood in the films. I thought it was set like in the middle of the films
It
or
has
something.
nothing to
So
do with the movies in the
right,
slightest. Like
okay,
nothing.
Yeah.
It's just its own
there you
game.
go.
Is there anything in
Yes.
particular you didn't like about a particular character?
Drax was annoying. I hated everything that came out of his mouth.
Oh.
Groot is just a pointless character. He always does is go,
What?
"I am Groot," and then yeah, Rocket was just an annoying little rat.
No.
was a
Yeah, I
raccoon.
hated him. Gamora was okay. She was just a lady, and I hated Chris Pratt.
Just
Yeah,
Just
Chris Pratt.
pointless main character.
That's-
All he did was have guns and go
This-
pew pew.
This is insane to me because the characters are like 500 times better than the MCU characters for me.
I would
like,
fucking hate the films then.
like the characters are written so well. I feel like whoever did the writing for the game did it really, really well. All the characters, they just worked. All the characters worked, and they were how they were meant to be. I think something you need to bear in mind with the Guardians, especially at that point, is they are just meant to hate each other. That's just sort of what they do. They just sort of like just take the piss out of each other and just aren't
Why are
particularly
they a
nice.
team then? If they
It's
hate
the
each other,
arc. They got to
Yeah.
start from one point to get to the other. They can't just stay in the same place, you know. Otherwise, that'd be boring. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, to build on to what Lewis said, and by that I mean completely disagree. I thought the writing was actually kind of terrible.
Oh, what's going on?
You-
Man?
So basically, it felt like it was written so that if you missed one line of dialogue, you'll be reminded about it about 50 times. Because, like, stuff like, for example, Rocket, I can't remember who his missus is, but, like, their story, it felt like it didn't, like, sort of progress. You didn't find out more about him. You did, but, like, over the course of 50 lines. But in between those 50 lines, there were 10 lines which are, like, exactly the same. And so, even though I really love the characters, I really love, like, the IP, I actually stopped hunting for optional dialogue because the optional dialogue was just the same dialogue, pretty much, like, over and over again. And that, like, transcended into the fight dialogue as well. Like, if you aren't going to record enough lines for a 5-minute fight, don't have them speak every half a second. That's why I think it just got kind of really annoying.
I don't want to take the spotlight too much. I'll be quick with this. I noticed the exact opposite. At least I felt like there was a ton of unique dialogue, and I didn't really ever hear the same lines being thrown around that often.
I don't
I
mean
thought-
literally the same words. I mean, like, it's saying the same thing.
Yeah, saying the
but,
same
like,
thing, just
you
a
know.
different way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Because one of the things when I was playing, I was just like, "Damn, it feels like they recorded a shit ton of dialogue for this," and I was quite impressed. But I do understand that. Yeah, it does make sense.
So
Yeah.
while we're still on the characters, before like we go, like I'm sure Scott's got lots of questions since he was the one who suggested the game. I want to talk like while we're still on the characters, Gamora. Like, especially like comparing it to the MCU, how much better was Gamora in this than she was in the MCU? She's actually given actual depth rather
Yeah.
than just being a seriously angry character all the time like she was in the MCU. Do you not agree, Niall? I'm seeing a look of derision there.
I don't think there's depth. I think there's a difference. Like, for Gamora with me in this game, it was more so like she's done her growing before the story starts.
Yeah.
She doesn't change from start to end, and she's just this, like, she's glad she's free and she's glad she's on her own.
Of course she grows. There's like an entire chapter about Gamora growing and starting to trust people.
About when a sick, like, because you find out that she had to kill her own sister.
Yeah.
Bah. Nah, for me,
Oh,
it was
no,
more
no.
so-
You proved me wrong. I'm going to carry on.
No, for me, it was very much like the trusted. For me, everyone trusted each other more apart from Gamora. I think Drax especially like trusted Gamora more throughout the game, and I thought that was the only moment that involved Gamora where there was growth.
She
Like,
opened
with
up,
that-
man.
with the
She
Guardians
opened
of
up
the
to
Galaxy.
Star-Lord.
The guy, I think the movies did that better, to be honest, because she started off at a worse point. With this, like, she was already kind of there, you know. That's what I thought, anyway.
I disagree. I disagree.
I thought they did
entirely.
Drax much better in the games, 100%. Like, definitely. On the character level, because it actually felt like... Because in the movies, like, he cares about his wife and daughter being dead.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, like, actually care about his wife and daughter being dead. It's just,
Yeah.
like, Batista in some makeup, and he's, like, invisible for a second. But, like... The thing which I like the most is that they actually got his power level right. Like, yeah, this guy can actually kill Thanos. He's not just going to see Thanos and just get booted and then, like, he's dead. You know what I mean? So that's what I like most about Drax.
Right. We're talking about characters a lot. Scott, have you got, what questions have you got for us?
Questions.
Question. Give us throw us a question on us.
Well, for the character section, we've already gone through it.
Oh yeah.
But what were people's favorite section of the game? Favorite chapter?
You're asking questions now. It's a long time ago since I played it.
Chapter list.
I'll answer first. So the story section where it was, I can't remember the girl's name. Does anyone remember the girl's name? Like Starlord thought was
Nikki?
You need to
Nikki,
well.
yeah, Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So the part of the story where there was this like stuck in a loop, like stuck kind of like in Nikki's mind, trying to get her to realize what was actually going on and all that stuff. That was like really heavy hitting for me. I really enjoyed it. And you actually get the final revelation of who Nikki is, and where like I really enjoyed that part.
For me, I can't remember what chapter it was, but it was the chapter. I think it was like chapter 13 or 14, the one where you go to the snow planet to finally fight the big dragon. The Drax have been talking about.
Bing Fang Foom.
Yeah, Bing Fang Foom, yeah. Because he was talking about it all, literally the entire game, and I was like, "Are we actually going to see this happen, or is it just a joke?" But when we actually got that, I was hyped. I was ready, especially with his little song beforehand. Like, because you could speak to everyone before you left the ship, and he'd sing like an entire anthem for basically going to slay it. So I really enjoyed that chapter. It built up really well in my opinion.
That was dope. Fin Fan Film was great. Completely forgot about that. So, yeah.
Alex,
I don't know. I'm
Niall.
For me, it's difficult because all the chapters felt the same. Like it felt like
legit, Niall. I'm the exact same.
Yeah, every chapter it felt like you pretty much did the exact same thing. You walked forever, you fought, and then there was a cutscene. I don't know. The end was nice because that was the end of it.
When the game finished,
yeah,
that was my favorite part.
Yeah, Fing Fang Foom was pretty good, to be honest. I like the spectacle of it. That was good.
Great. So
I'll probably have to just hop on that as well. That was probably the best part, just fighting that.
yeah,
big
hit us with yours, Scott. Since Alex and Niall just gave terrible opinions.
Yeah, I like, similar to Oliver's. I liked the part where what's he called? Star-Lord. I'm just gonna say Star-Lord. He went into his promise.
Oh, Peter.
And then yeah, Peter. He went into his promise, and then he was all happy and stuff. But then he had to like, essentially, you could fail the game.
Yeah.
And then restart it.
You did roll creds. I was half thinking just to end the game there.
I'm surprised he didn't, to be honest. But yeah, I thought it was quite, strong in the way it was presented.
I did think they tackled all that stuff quite well. I think there was genuinely some very emotional moments. I don't know if I should mention this now. I guess I should, because it was like brought up in a certain chapter. But the chapter where you go to nowhere, I probably should actually say this is pretty much a runner-up. I love that entire chapter.
Yeah.
I was on Nowhere, where you go to nowhere, the planet at the edge of the universe. Like chapter, I don't know, 9, 7, 8, I don't know. You just go to nowhere. Do you not remember where you went to nowhere?
No, I can't remember.
There's a big celestial skull. It's basically a big like black market kind of thing.
There is a chapter called Nowhere to Run. That's probably the chapter 12.
No, that's where you go to nowhere the second time. Yeah,
the one where you meet Mantis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mantis was sick in this as well. Sorry, we got back on characters. Mantis was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I spent like 2 hours on Nowhere just exploring like every nook and cranny. I mean, it's something I did throughout the entire game. I was very adamant about going everywhere because I just really enjoyed the story. But there's a part on Nowhere where it's an optional part, I believe, but you can find Drax because he says that he has to leave. And you can meet him at some point, like overlooking the edge of the universe or the edge of the galaxy, whatever it is. And he speaks to you about how the equivalent of heaven for like his people, you can only go there if like you died with purpose. And he explains that the reason it's extra sad about like his family is because they died without a purpose. And Peter, you get like an interesting conversation between him and Peter explains that on Earth obviously there's heaven and blah blah blah, and he hopes that Drax's family actually went to heaven, and it was just a really well done moment. Like it was honestly close to making me tear up. Like I genuinely thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just goes to show for me how good the writing was in that game. But yeah, Nowhere was easy runner up for also favorite chapter. I just think that whole thing was very well done, and they built a very very just interesting world.
So we're talking a lot about the positives there. I want to kind of understand what people's negatives are, and I'm going to start with like one of mine. So if we talk about the combat a bit, so I felt like we're controlling all the other guardians, like bringing them in to do their special moves, all that kind of thing. So that's kind of the way it works. You control Peter. You only control Peter. But you on the D-pad, you've got a selection of moves for each of the guardians. They'll come in, like for example, Gamora's. I think Gamora's like damage, like does a lot of damage. Drax breaks shields. Rocket does AOE attacks and things like that. I thought all that was great, but Peter himself, I thought was a bit boring. Kind of thing. He just all he did was shoot. He had some special moves, but they weren't really that great or anything like that. I just feel like that particularly for me felt a little bit boring.
Yeah, it's like playing as the worst character, but there's like so many other good options that you could have played as, but you're just like, yeah, here's the guy who shoots. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how it felt to me.
I understand why it had to happen because Star-Lord this is Star-Lord's story at the end of the day, and it's about him building a team, and they wanted to kind of avoid that Avengers syndrome, I think, because Avengers was obviously poopy bumholes. I just thought they could have made him slightly more interesting. What are other people's thoughts on the combat?
I'll go first, actually.
Go on, Alex.
I started on like hard difficulty, and then I realized, like, because I just bumped the difficulty down because I was like, this is just taking way too long to kill enemies. All it did was just raise the health, so I just changed it to very easy because I just would have rather have just killed the enemies faster than just to spend more time just shooting enemies, which wasn't even that fun, really. For me, anyway, I didn't enjoy like shooting. Right, okay, right. Let's change to the ice gun. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I just ended up playing on very easy just to make it easier on myself.
Yeah.
What difficulty did everyone else play on?
Very easy.
I played on normal. I really wanted to bump it down, but I wanted to play on it just to see how the game was like meant to be played. For me, I've got almost the exact same opinion as Alex. There was a slight enemy hierarchy in that like you want to kill some enemies over the others, but it was like very rare and it was only snipers. And what you do, you just like get Groot to like pin them down and get Gamora to slice them up, and then that'll be it. But for me, the whole gameplay loop, including the combat, was just really, really dull. It was just in a chapter that usually takes about an hour. It consisted of about 40 minutes of traversal and 20 minutes of combat. And of that combat, you were just like holding down RT and then pressing the same commands that you would always press. And it was just a bit boring. The best part about the game was the reload. About the combat was the reload mechanic. I haven't seen that quite done anywhere else. There is like those cooldown mechanics, but I think that was done quite well in that it gave you like I think it was either a damage up or a rate of fire up if you hit it right.
It was done exactly that way in Gears of War.
Okay, well
active reload, right? Yeah.
Yeah, active reload.
Yeah.
Then they stole it from Gears of War. Then I guess I don't know, but like that was probably my favorite part about the combat. Yeah, like the gameplay was definitely the dullest part, and the combat was a big part of that. It had the same sort of syndrome as Ratchet and Clank. When I played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, there's the combat which consists of a lot of the game was just really, really dull. Like completely, like there was just almost no point in doing it apart from to progress.
I'm not getting into that kind of wormsy about Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to comment on that. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy review.
Okay.
I'll just say real quick, like one of the going off the combat, I did enjoy the combat enough. I didn't think it was anything amazing, but it was just fine. It was simple enough where I didn't honestly think about it that hard. I was just sort of on autopilot when it was happening, but I was never at any point like this is bad. I was just sort of like this is fine. Like this is just very very fine gameplay. I'm not going to complain either way. One of my least favorite things about the gameplay in general was sort of two things really. I didn't overly care for the upgrades. I felt like the upgrades were very minimal. There was only like 15 of them, and most of them just didn't really change anything up. A lot of them ended up being passives of just like when you were on a like lower health or like when a certain thing's happening, you shoot faster or blah blah blah. I feel like they could have made the upgrade tree just way more interesting, or just provided just a different upgrades, or even more upgrades for the other characters. Because all you could do for the other characters was just give them a new move. I would have liked to have seen maybe like some skill trees or some upgraded stuff for the other characters. The other thing I also didn't overly like, it wasn't bad. I don't think it was very lackluster compared to something like Spider-Man. All the costumes and stuff as collectibles, I did collect all of them apart from like one that I missed. Most of them are just kind of boring.
The
A lot of the
Horseman ones were good.
costumes.
The 4 Horsemen
Yeah,
ones were
no,
good. But
they're the only ones that
Yeah.
were good. All the other ones were basically kind of the same. They were just sort of like either war versions of their current outfits or just like old versions of the current outfits, and they all just look very, very similar and very boring. I didn't really ever want to wear a new costume when I picked one up. I'd look at it and go cool, and then just sort of stop it. Well, sort of just carry on the game. Whereas in like Spider-Man, every time I'd get a new costume, I'd always wear it for a bit and just play around with it.
Yeah.
So I felt like they could have made the collectibles a bit more interesting. At least when it came to the costume side of stuff, just thought it was a bit boring.
Yeah, with the skill tree as well. Like for me, I think I ended up getting all of them, but at one point I saw no point in getting them, and I think I ended up having like 20 skill points or something like that to spare. I'm like, this isn't affecting me at all because it was just extra moves which I didn't really want to use because the moves aren't better in every way; they're just different.
Yeah.
So there was no point in upgrading. I felt like they did that kind of just wrong.
Getting back to the combat, Scott, what did you think of the combat?
I thought it was meh. You know, there's nothing special about it. I do wish I considered the idea of going down to easy, because I feel like it wouldn't have changed my experience. I feel like most enemies were just bullet sponges.
Yeah. The
I could, as a colorblind person, couldn't tell what color shields they had. I didn't interact with that sort of system at all. I didn't even know that Drax could break shields. So there's that. I thought that the huddle mechanic was quite cool. It was quite empowering, you know.
And the
one
music,
thing is
the music it provided was always great.
the music, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, can I just come out to something real quick, Scott? I said before about the dialogue not repeating. The dialogue in the huddle, there was like 3 different huddle situations.
Yeah.
That was really, really repetitive and really annoying.
Yeah.
Carry on, Scott.
Yeah, basically that as well. It was very empowering whenever you pulled off a successful huddle, because they let's go back in, and then the music like really ramped up. You know, it really contrasted from regular.
So sometimes it did. Sometimes it was Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Yeah, well,
there was like there was quite a wide selection. Good. There was a wide selection, and it was either like, oh, let's do this, or it was that's fucking hilarious kind of situation.
Yeah.
It just made me want the songs the entire time I was fighting.
Yeah.
Like I'd purposely just huddle just to get the song.
Yeah, I was the exact same.
Yeah, sorry, Scott, go on.
There's one thing about huddles that I didn't like, is that on controller at least, I kept on. I probably did this like 4 times. I accidentally activated the huddle about 4 times, and that is because the ability button is on one bumper, and then the special bullets is on another button, and you will press them at the same time.
Oh yeah,
quite often.
Without a doubt. Was there no accessibility options for colorblind?
I'm just looking them up now. I can't find any. Like I'm bamboozled.
Oh.
This is just like a most recent game as well.
Yeah,
2021.
Yeah, 2021 game. That shouldn't be an issue.
Damn. Go ahead. So going back. So your list of questions, Scott. Have you got anything else on there for us? Hit us with something.
What did people think about puzzles?
They weren't.
Yeah, they were
They
like
weren't puzzles. They were things to do in a order. And
they were like the bare minimum for a puzzle. It wasn't really a puzzle, and it was the same puzzle every time, pretty much. It was make Drax move a block or make Gamora cut the rope. That was sort of every puzzle.
Yeah, and it was always very obvious what you had to do because they had the silhouettes there of the person.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I wasn't really expecting puzzles from this. To be honest with you.
I had a couple problems with puzzles though, where I knew like what to do, but you had to scan some stuff first for it to register. So I'd be like, why isn't it letting me do it? So I'd spend like 5 minutes trying to figure out what to do, and I'm like, oh, I didn't fucking scan it. So then
Yeah.
I just wasted 5 minutes. Just
I had that once as well because like even Drax told me what to do, but I
yeah,
couldn't.
Drax
Yeah.
was like,
I
yeah,
think he was like
I know what
break
to
the
do
wall,
here.
and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it, and then I couldn't because I needed to scan
Break
it.
the wall then. Do it.
Ridiculous.
It's very similar to Lego Star Wars, where you just need to interact. If you interact with literally everything in the room, you'll finish the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Lego Star Wars. It does destroy everything, and eventually you can build something up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anything more from your list of questions, Scott?
Quick time events. What do people think?
Well, it's just quick time events and shit in general.
What happened if you failed them? I was tempted, but I never actually did it. Did it just restart
I
the?
can't remember any.
I did
I'm not
once,
gonna
but
lie.
I failed one by accident and I died. And
Oh,
then
so
it
just
just respawned me right before the quick time. No, in fact, no, it didn't. It spawned me like 2 minutes before it. I was fucking furious. It was so annoying because I think it was the first quick time event as well, and so I had no idea it existed
Yeah,
in
I
the
wasn't
game.
prepared for it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like it felt way too quick for a first quick time event. Like I don't even think I was looking at the screen at the moment because it was a cutscene. But like, yeah, it just appeared.
Nope.
Oh,
And
Scott's
Comes
camera just died.
Oh, Scott's just become a battery level.
oh,
Oh,
God, it's like a proper TV. Like,
Technical difficulties.
that's crazy.
Yeah, for audio
no.
listeners, Scott's webcam is currently gone.
Yes, but I actually have a topic to go on to which is fitting for this.
Okay.
Bugs. I know Alex has loads, but I'm gonna
I
say
have,
mine
I
first.
have lots to talk about.
Yeah, actually, I mentioned it to Oliver briefly. I think like the bug which I got, but I think Lewis doesn't know about it. So Lewis, you remember the guy with like the long hair, which kind of gave off like Winter Soldier vibes at the start of the game, like he was just in like a prison cell.
Oh yeah.
In like chapter 13 or 14, he was just on my ship. Like it was right after I think like everyone like it was like after a feel bad moment and everyone was all sulky and then I was like waddling back to my seat to sit down and like I did like a double take and I just walked past the guy. He was just stood there and I tried interacting with him. I'm like, did I miss like a side quest where it would make sense why he was now part of the
Where
team?
joins the crew.
Yeah,
joins the army.
exactly. But he just and then like he just wasn't there anymore. I thought it was the most weird bug ever. Like I hadn't seen him in like 10 chapters. I assumed there's like a way to interact with him through a side quest at some point, but I just never saw him again until then. So I thought that was
That's honestly
mental.
really funny. That's really cool. I had some bugs. My most notable one was just, I think it was the first time. It's when you go on the Grand Unifier's ship and he's taking you on that platform, or Rocket's messing with his back, or the robot behind his back. When I spawned in, Groot spawned in behind me and he was stood on his head, but he was like doing his walking animation. So he was just walking on the Grand Unifier's head, like in the same spot. And for some reason he just couldn't get down, but probably because he wasn't meant to be up there. But yeah, he couldn't get down. But I reset that scene because it was kind of distracting me from what was going on, and then it was fine. The game wasn't overly buggy, but yeah, it was a bit messy in some places. I know Alex had some bad T-pose.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to go first before I mention like the 10 bugs that I had?
I didn't have any.
I've got one final one. Thankfully, during the huddle up, they showed the important words behind them because sometimes they just wouldn't speak and just stare at me for ages, for like a good like 30 seconds. It makes you realize how long those huddles are when they're just staring into your soul. And then he just came up with an option like what to do, and I just always pick the one with the word that was on floating.
I will say this now. Part of me wanted to blame it because I played this on PC and I wasn't playing it on an SSD. So I'm going to assume it was that, but I did have a lot of audio bugs where audio would start playing and they wouldn't be speaking, or they'd start speaking and audio wouldn't play. But like I said, I dumbed that down to that's probably my fault because I was playing it on a hard drive, but I don't know.
I was streaming it, which I assume is on an SSD somewhere in the world.
Oh,
and I had those issues as well.
Yeah.
So I should have had apart from like the pixelatiness sometimes, I should have had the most optimal way to play the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And I still got bugs, so yeah.
Scott can hear us during this, right, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Apologies for the technical issues that we're having there.
Yeah, I'll talk about all the bugs that I had. I think it's chapter 10 where you're trying to save Drax and that woman's on his back.
Mantis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they fell through the floor at one point, and everyone just froze, and I couldn't progress because I needed like a cutscene was like meant to trigger or something,
Yeah.
but nothing happened, and I was just walking around for like 7 to 10 minutes, just being like, "What the fuck do I do?" Like nothing's happening. So then I ended up having to reload, play for like 5 minutes, and then like a cutscene happened. And I was like, "Oh, this was meant to happen."
Um,
Um,
1 second,
that was
Alex.
annoying.
Everyone
Go
should
on.
clarify what systems did everyone play on. I played it on PC.
PS5.
PC.
xCloud.
xCloud.
Xbox One X.
Yeah. Because there's a chance some of Alex's bugs may just have been because he was playing it on a console that was probably crying while trying
Yeah,
to play
but
it. But yeah.
Don't release it on the system then if it's not meant for the system.
I
And
actually had some similar issues. I'm on PC on an NVMe drive, and I had moments where the level just didn't load in. It'd play like a cutscene, and then the level wouldn't load in, and then I'd fall through the ground and then just die. It was crazy.
brilliant. I had moments where in the ship, like you get where you fly in the ship section where you're trying to land it on the snow planet.
Yeah.
Because my Xbox took so long to load, I would already have crashed by the time it loaded in because I didn't know where I was going. So that was fun having to. I think I literally had to restart the game to get a fresh thing in order to do it, which was annoying.
Yeah.
At the end of the game where they're walking down, I had Drax T-posing, and then I spoke to Cosmo, who did not say a word. He was just looking at me, just barking away, and then it just froze.
That's a good ending.
Yeah.
That was literally the ending.
That
I didn't
could
get any
have gone to
credits
a
or
5
anything.
out of 10 there. But, yeah.
And then in the final boss as well, I had moments where it would reload the save when I died, and then it would replay from the start of the boss, but it would then immediately kill me because I didn't answer like the question, I think. So I had to restart that as well. So that was annoying.
You answer the question.
When you died on easy, were you on easy?
I was on very easy.
Damn. I think on the final boss I died a couple of times. I can't remember.
Really?
Was that
Yeah.
Scott judging
Well,
then? Right, very
No,
easy.
because I played it on the hardest mode. And I didn't struggle with anything.
I just got like overswarmed with enemies, and I didn't know what to actually do because it gave no indication. And then a cutscene played. I think I chose like the wrong option, and then it killed me, and then it just kept killing me, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was times when I died when I realized that not a lot of the game, but quite a bit of the game, you can just walk past the enemies and get to the point, and then enemies will just despawn. And I tried to do that a bunch of times. That's when I died the most. But I think it would have still taken less time because of how much the enemies are bullet sponges. So that's how I
Yeah.
died most of the
That's
time.
literally why I turned the difficulty down, because I was like, I wonder if it's just because the bullet sponges, and then I was like, it's taking less bullets to kill him. This is easier.
Yeah.
So moving on, so we don't know whether we're going to get a sequel to this because as of today, Eidos Montreal, I believe it is who's the developer that made this, has been bought by. Do you know the name of the publisher?
I can't remember the name of the publisher.
I can't remember the name, but from what I've heard, I've never heard of them personally, but they seem to be buying a lot of stuff, and we just never know whether we're going to see this Guardians or Tomb Raider or Deus Ex or anything like that ever again. But if they were willing to develop it, would you want a sequel?
No.
Yeah, I would happily see a sequel. I'd love to see one. I'd be sad to see these characters go to waste and just never be used again.
Exactly.
I'd watch gameplay first, and if it's the same, then maybe not. But who knows? If it's on Game Pass, then I might just play it anyway. But that's with most games on Game Pass. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you wouldn't buy it full price now?
Honestly, it'd have to be really good for me to buy anything full price with the way Game Pass is at the moment. It's just cracking. It's best deal in gaming.
Best
Honestly.
deal in gaming.
Best deal in gaming.
Literally,
That's crazy.
the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is the first game I bought new in a long time. I bought Elden Ring, but that was like 3 weeks after it came out. Stanley Parable, I think it was like 3 days old. That was the first game in a long time I bought new.
I want to talk to you about Elden Ring, by the way, because you've been very quiet on that front for quite a while. But
I actually played it. I actually played it last week.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Right, so shall we end that there and move on to 20 questions? I'm just looking at the time of things.
Can I just ask you a couple things, just because I don't think we mentioned them?
Hell
Real
with
quick,
it.
we can power through them. Who was your favorite character? Because mine was Cosmo, and Cosmo's the only correct answer.
Yeah, Cosmo, because he's not
Cosmo.
part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which
Right,
are all
shut
shit
up, Alex.
characters.
Shut up.
They were actually, I don't know how you can even defend them. They're all awful.
They're not.
How?
They are.
They're all
Why,
damaged.
though?
They're all damaged, and they all grow.
Like, if you listen, especially if you did like the extra lore stuff, if you listen to any of the stories, like even like Rockets, like it's tragic,
I
it's
didn't
horrible.
care. I didn't care about any of them.
I mean, that sounds like you didn't want to invest into
Sounds like a you
potentially
problem.
caring about them. Yeah.
For me, it was
You're putting the
Gamora.
work to enjoy it. So
Gamora was your favorite
Gamora.
character.
For me, it was Gamora, and I think that was literally just because I was comparing it to the MCU version. Yeah, or Mantis. Mantis was great as well.
Mantis was mine, honestly.
Scott-
I
Scott?
thought. Okay.
No, just Scott, give me yours first. Let everyone just tell me the characters, then you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
I like Gamora as well. I feel like she was cool, and there's nothing likable about her in the films, but there definitely is in the game, I think.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
Poggers. Right, Niall, now you make.
I was gonna say, well, the main thing which Mantis did, well, it's with the only character, to be honest, apart from maybe Drax, is it made me feel sad about her character in the MCU. Because the MCU, she's literally just what's the word? She's like just supposed to be funny,
Shit.
you know. Like that's all she's there for, comic relief, pretty much. Like her and Drax's sort of relationship. But like she's actually like an incredibly powerful
Yeah, I was gonna say she
being
seemed really
who can
powerful.
like
in this.
tap into the multiverse at will and see everything ever. She's pretty much the Watcher, or like Heimdall. But yeah, in the MCU, she's sort of nothing. So yeah, Mantis was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, instead of no one like Adam Warlock or anything, it was no one hyped when Adam
No.
Warlock appeared. No.
He's kind of insufferable, really, wasn't
It was
Yeah.
just Drax, but he rhymed. That was pretty much it.
And the other final thing, because we didn't really like speak of it as like its own section for some reason, and I'd argue it's the most important part of the game. What did everyone think of the soundtrack, the music?
I can't
it was
remember
okay.
much. I can't remember much outside of the huddles, if I'm honest with you.
That's okay. I mean, I just thought the soundtrack for the game was amazing. Like, it had so much good shit in it. I feel bad for the Twitch streamers who had to use the streamer only mode.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like they missed out on like 80% of the game having to use that. I don't know. I thought the soundtrack was amazing. It was nice to see a game with like such like a ton of licensed music. Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to do it any other way. I think
No.
it would have lost a lot of the charm. But it was just really, really nice to see all this licensed music in a game. I just thought it was really, really good. But that's all I wanted to ask, because I feel like we didn't ask either of those things. I felt they were kind of important.
Okay. Any more before we move on to 20 questions?
20 questions, I'm hypes.
20
20 questions.
Right. Okay. So for each video game book club, I'll take it in turns to pick a game, and then at the end of each one, we do 20 questions so everyone can figure out what the game is. So I'm gonna get the Wikipedia open for this game because I've picked this one, and just start asking away, I guess.
So are you keeping track of the game, the questions?
I will be doing yes.
It's yes or no as well, isn't it?
It is yes or no.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that a question?
No. Yes? No. Right, Alex, you go first. You pick a question.
Okay. Is it PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation?
Are they all part of the same generation?
PS2,
Yeah, they
GameCube,
are.
Xbox.
Oh right.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Okay.
Someone else.
Lewis, go on.
No, fuck. Does your does your game have a male protagonist?
Yes.
You didn't ask whether it was the main protagonist. It could be.
Oh, well, okay, male main protagonist.
Yes.
Is the main character right? There we go. Yeah.
It's the same.
When I hear protagonist, I imagine main.
Yeah,
anyway.
same. There we go. We got rid of 2 games. We got rid of Tomb Raider and another game with a lead, with female lead.
Stop playing Guess
Metroid.
Who and asking whether they've got hair or something.
I told you I didn't have a question. I had to
To be
call it
fair
out.
though, if it was the other way around, then we would be quids in.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so is it same question we asked for Guardians? Is it part of like any? Is it like third party IP? Like, is it licensed?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Is it released after 2012?
No.
Damn it.
So that could mean it's released either before 2012 or 2012. So it's one of those.
That is
two.
true, actually.
Yeah.
2012. So that sort
Right,
of means
okay.
it has to be
Did-
between like.
Oh no, I was gonna say was it the
360.
I was gonna say was it the 2012 movie, the video game, but like does that mean it's
Is there a
licensed?
video game of that?
I would imagine though. 2012 was the movie video game. Alex, ask your question.
Yeah, let's go.
No, but there is a
Is it-
Roblox mod. Sorry, go on.
Fair enough.
It's any time I try to speak, he always says something. I'll just ask an easy one then. Is it Xbox 360, Wii, PS3 generation?
Yes.
Right, there you go, guys.
That's
Narrowed
five-
it down.
That's 5 questions.
Right, I'm thinking about this logically because it has to be a game that is relatively easy to play, which applies to me. Is it on Game Pass?
Yes.
Was it released on XBLA?
No.
Okay.
Oh god.
Because I was going to ask like a really stupid question, like is it fucking Hawk for the PS3? And I was like, someone's not fucking Hawk for the PS3. So yeah, it has to be a relatively playable game.
Does it include shooting guns?
Ooh, that's a question. That,
Yeah, that's an evil question. There might be one part of the game where you shoot a gun.
for the most part, it does not.
Okay.
Okay, is it in a series of games? Is there more than
No.
multiple? So it's a single game, right? Okay.
Why is it background to me? Is your game
He didn't know what we were going to ask
Good.
before it started.
is your game nah. Is your game a platformer?
No. I
Fuck.
wouldn't consider it a platformer.
Hey.
That's 10 questions. You got 10 left.
Is it a puzzle game?
No.
So it's a 360 game. That's on
Was-
Game Pass.
Your game well known?
Yes, I'd say so.
So a subjective answer. Okay.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, it was well known. It's not like it's not a
I knew it. So
cryptic
yeah.
indie or anything like that.
It's around to me already. Fuck's sake.
Alex, it has to be a 360 game. Channel your energy.
I'm legit trying to think. Like a shortish game. I feel like I know what it is, but no, it can't be that
How
because
the
it's
fuck do you
thingy.
know what it is?
No, I thought I had something, but it's not in a series. It's a singular game.
Isn't that what you said? I swear I said it was a singular game.
Yeah, Alex is saying that the one
Yeah.
he's looking at
Yeah.
is
Ah,
in the series.
got you.
Yeah.
Picking it up
Is the first letter of the game in the first half of the alphabet?
Oh, for God's sake! Yes, it is. But Jesus Christ,
There you
we
go.
are bottom of the barrel now.
So Niall could have potentially done it for A to Z.
yeah. Ah, shit. Okay, I've looked at the list recently. Then, well, recently, like a month ago.
I'm just gonna try and pin down the
genre.
of game. Is it? Well, obviously, it's whatever Wikipedia says, I suppose. Is it a action and adventure game?
No, this might give you a slight clue. It is, for the most part.
Okay. So for the most part, you're either actioning or adventuring.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the most
Honestly.
part. But it has
Okay.
other elements.
Mm.
But none of those elements. I mean, to be fair, I did say it was a puzzle
Wait,
game.
I think I know what it
Lewis
might
is gonna
be.
get this. He's gonna get it.
Wait, I might get it. I might.
Lewis, wait, does Lewis have another go?
Yeah,
So how
yeah.
many questions are we on?
We've got 14.
14.
We're on
We're
14.
on 14.
15, 16, 17. Okay, right.
Oh, I can't tell. Okay, maybe because.
Or it's a game on its own in the series. First half of the alphabet.
Oh no! Wait, no! It's a game that's on its own. No.
Yeah.
No.
Alright,
You probably
well-
thought the same thing I did.
Right, give me a second here now.
It's a podcast. We can't have
right.
dead air, Niall.
Right, okay, so was it released between right, so whatever. Fuck it. Was it is it a
Remember, it's a letter in the first half of the alphabet, Niall.
right, okay.
The first 30
Don't
letters.
look at your
Was it
shelf.
released between 2009 and 2012?
Was it released between 2009 and 2012?
Yeah.
Are those years inclusive on both sides?
Yeah, fuck it.
Then yes, it was.
Okay, so it's either in 2009 or 2012. That's it. That's
Right, you
what
got
it is.
5 questions left. I really thought you'd get this one.
We haven't asked any questions which are actually helpful, I've realised.
That's
Oh,
not true.
no.
We know that it's an action adventure game on the 360 that came out in 2008. No, 2009 or 2012.
Yeah,
I
and
see
you
the
rarely shoot
first
a gun,
half
but
of
you
the
do.
alphabet.
First
This
half
is
of
the
the
first half
alphabet,
of the
there's only one
alphabet.
of them. There's a male protagonist. You know, it's an
Yeah.
action adventure with other elements.
A bit of shooting.
Yeah, a little bit of shooting.
Well,
Just
we,
a
we,
little
we,
bit.
we know that I don't know if there's any shooting or not in it.
Oh,
Wait, I thought you said
okay.
it was
Yeah.
just a
He's
little
not played
bit.
it. He's
Oh,
not
could
played
we
it
have-
before.
Could we have the first video game book club sequel? This isn't the question, but I'm asking the group.
Wait, maybe I do know it.
Oh god.
Go on.
No, it's a singular game. It's a singular game.
Oh, it's
Niall.
a good game. No,
I
Singular game.
do I know it? I think I might know it.
Are you looking
I
for
don't
the
know,
Game
it's
Pass list,
always-
Taylor? Because
it's
it sounds like
always
you're cheating.
No, I'm not. I'm just checking that this game came out in 2009.
Scott, what's your
Scott's
question?
I feel like I'll just to help out the guys.
It could
Is
be
it
this
released?
game. It could be this game.
Is it released in 2009?
It was released in 2009.
Right,
yes.
I think I might know it. Maybe.
Okay.
But remember, my
Uh,
guess is a waste if this is wrong.
I really don't know. I can't think of anything.
Is this game even on Game Pass?
We get a guess after the 20th question anyway, don't we?
You do. You do.
We get a
Right,
guess
so-
each.
Yeah, just don't save it. Just save it. then
Sure.
I actually have no clue. 2009.
Game is on Game Pass. I think I know it.
Well, I looked it up.
Let's
Oh
cheat,
yeah, I
Lewis.
looked at it. No, I looked at if my guess was on Game Pass and came out in 2009, and it did.
Wow, you are.
I would have called that cheating. I didn't set you up beforehand.
His go is it?
Is
Alex.
Here's my go. Is the company that made the game like a well-known company?
Are we talking published or are we talking developed?
Whichever one is the one that you normally like go, yeah, they made it.
1 second. The publisher is very very well known. Very
Right,
well
okay.
known.
There you go, Lewis. Right, go ahead.
I'll give you a free one here and say the developer is. Oh yeah, no, you see, the developer's well known, but I wouldn't know if you'd know the name or not because I didn't.
Right, okay. Go on, Lewis.
Well-
Hit us with it.
Right. Well, I think my guess is ruined now, because he said he doesn't know. He's not heard of the company before.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna guess it anyway. Is the game Brutal Legend?
It is indeed Brutal Legend.
Yes!
Oh.
You've heard of Double Fine Productions, haven't you?
Well,
Yeah.
it rung a bell, but I didn't know what they'd made. So I had to look it up.
Made
It was like
Psychonauts.
Psychonauts and shit like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so released on October the 13th, 2009 for the PS3 and Xbox 360. It came to Windows and Linux and stuff later. Brutal Legend of
That's
Jack
the Jack
Black.
Black one, right?
Is the
Yeah.
Jack Black. Well, yeah,
fame.
I was gonna ask my question then. Does your game star Jack Black? But then if it didn't, it would have been a proper waste.
Yes, but other than that, that is it. That is it from us. What's on the channel currently? What we just put up?
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2 beta.
Overwatch 2 beta first impressions. We're gonna have the Switch Sports review up maybe before this, maybe after it. And we are doing some tier lists. We're throwing that up as well. So other than that, until next time, we shall see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.